And it's time for Business Now. And my colleague, Emmanuel Abuaji-Riafe, joins me in the studio now. Hi, Emmanuel.
Hello, Araba. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Okay.
You know that the economy and unemployment is going to be one of the major talking points in this election.
It is.
And the various parties have been talking about how they're going to be addressing the issue of unemployment.
Yes.
But we're hearing the government talking about, some interventions to employ fresh graduates.
Yes, I mean, government has, hammered on it time and time again that private sector must collaborate with the government to employ graduates. It's so unfortunate that we have in the country Unemployed Graduates Association, and that's not a good tag at all.
Exactly.
So the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations has once again reiterated, that the catchword, reiterated government's commitment to help the private sector, or to give them tax rebates to encourage them to employ more graduates.
All right, give us the details.
All right, thank you very much, and thanks for joining me on Business. Government has reiterated its commitment to offer tax rebates to private businesses that engage unemployed university graduates. According to the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Haruna Idrisu, this is aimed at encouraging private sector in helping to reduce graduate unemployment in the country and also help to cut down on the cost of recruiting fresh graduates. He said this in an interview with Joy Business at the launch of the Shared Growth Program by Barclays Bank in Accra.
To offer tax incentives to corporate entities that would offer employment opportunities to young graduates. And it will mean that in the computation of your cost as a corporate entity, you will be forgiven to have spent money in recruiting and training young people as part of our quest to address the growing unemployment in the country, particularly graduate unemployment.
How is it going to be? What's the criteria of selecting the companies that will go and benefit?
It is a company which says that we are recruiting 100 graduates, can write officially to government that this year we have employed 100 young graduates. We are building their skills and improving and enhancing their employability, and therefore they will request for a tax rebate from government, which will be granted.
How will we look at the cost that will come with this?
Look at the cost of they being unemployed.
Now, Minister of Finance Seth Terkper says government will not rush in its decision to issue diaspora bonds for Ghanaians living abroad. According to him, Ghanaians abroad will have the opportunity of earning interest on their foreign currencies when government decides to issue the bonds. This is, however, expected to be done with a step-by-step approach.
These are done through, the banks, and the banks as primary dealers. There's a possibility, as I said at the end of my CMC interview, that this could be a pointer to diasporans who are holding money, outside where interest rates are at, below 1%. Some are even trending towards sub-zero. Yes, for us to mobilize, I think there has been, long-standing suggestion that we should be doing diaspora bonds, given the large number of Ghanaians who are outside. We are going to see the extent to which there could be interest in diasporans who are holding money. We are not going to rush into it, but see whether this could be a step one, towards, making them buy, bonds, which they are outside, the country. Many of them are citizens in the technical sense that they are not residents there, but in a literal sense they are not residents. And if they can come in with their resources, to increase the supply, then it means that Ghana may be, the better, for...
Chief Executive of MTN Ghana, Ebenezer Asante, has been voted the best CEO within the MTN Group. This was at a leadership conference in South Africa involving the country heads from 23 different countries that make up the MTN Group. The achievement comes just a little over a year now since Mr. Asante was appointed the first Ghanaian CEO of the MTN Ghana Group in July last year. This could be described as an endorsement of the direction he is leading the company. He has attributed the feat to teamwork and collaborative support from all stakeholders of the company. Mr. Asante spoke to Joy Business editor Emmanuel J about the strategic position of MTN Ghana in the group.
Ghana is considered to be a very important operating unit within MTN Group. We have 23 operating units that are within Africa, Middle East, and some parts of Europe. And of the 23, Ghana is the fourth largest after Nigeria, South Africa, and Iran. And their contribution to revenue is equally big if you compare to MTN's overall. The same applies to profits as well. In terms of profits also, we are the fourth largest contributor to MTN profits, but clearly there are much bigger opcos like Nigeria, like South Africa, but we contribute a quota.
Now, let's look at Ghana's performance as well.
Oh, very good, very good. And we thank our subscribers and our customers for that, the confidence that they maintain in the MTN brand. And we do not take their custom for granted at all. It's a challenge for us to continue to do more, to invest more, and to excite them with relevant innovations and products and services.
The Commissioner of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Gail Kerlikowske, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, to facilitate the exchange of trade and customs expertise between the two nations. Trade between Ghana and the U.S. currently stands at $1.3 billion, hence the need to secure the borders to ensure safety of goods and services. In an interview with Joy Business after addressing a section of the media persons, Mr. Gail Kerlikowske reiterated that the U.S. will bring personnel for training.
Combined our customs authority along with our border enforcement authority, and we said we can leverage those two resources to improve travel, to improve cargo, but to improve security. We know that trafficking in arms, trafficking in human beings, trafficking in drugs, the more training and expertise that our people have, the better off they are at that. The second thing has been, though, the importance of revenue collection. We have to look very carefully to what we call level the playing field, so that tariffs and duties and classifications are the same at all 338 ports of entry, and that we are collecting the revenue that's due us. We have law enforcement authority for what's called anti-dumping and countervailing duties, which means that if there is a state sponsor that is helping to offset the cost of a particular product and it's being imported into the United States, and because that product was manufactured at significantly less cost. It comes to classifying products. If they need more, what are we doing about classifying products for tariff and duty collection? What are we doing about security at ports of entry when it comes to people presenting fraudulent documents or imposters? What about on human trafficking? Is it just human trafficking that exists around people being sent to other countries? Or are there things that you can recognize within your own country, like the United States, about human trafficking? So those are the things that we try to do.
Now, spokesperson of former President John Agyekum Kufuor, Frank Agyekum, has emphasized the essence to adapt fast to a cashless economy. He said the world is now moving towards digital connection, and Ghana's potential can fully be explored if the country is interconnected with the rest of the world. Frank Agyekum was speaking at the launch of Go Africa International Students and Youth ID cards in Accra. Dorcas Bwedu has more in the following report.
Speaking at the soft launch of Go Africa International Students and Youth Identity Card, where he chaired the event on behalf of former President Agyekum Kufuor, he said the initiative is a laudable one which will propel us into the 21st century.
The whole world, you travel outside, the use of plastics is becoming very important and very common. You go to a shop abroad and you are using cash to pay. At times they look at you in a certain way. So this initiative is already inculcating our youth the need or how to use these plastic cards And as you grow, and as I said, you know, we are in the digital world, and these things come digitally. So as they begin to use it, they also began to become more inventful. They then began to develop things in this vein that could help us to also get in tune with the digital age.
The CEO of the International Education Connect Agency, Dayon Akko-Adunvo, said the initiative will give African students and youth abroad some level of advantage, just like their European counterparts.
And that's all for business for now. Thank you very much for watching, and keep watching for more business news. Log on to myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji-Riafi. Good evening.